Hello, in this video, we will look at defining custom exception classes. In the Java API, we already have a lot of exception classes, but sometimes when you develop your own program, you need to have exception class, but that is not already represented in the Java API. So you need to have a custom exception class. So see how you're going to define custom exception classes. We're going to address it in this video. To define a custom exception class, you're going to extend a Java exception class already in the API. For this case, we're going to have this extends exception. So this is the invalid radius exception. This is what happens is we're going to modify the so-called with exception class. So when there's an exception in the so-called class, we're going to throw invalid radius exception. So in this so-called right here is the set radius. We're going to have set radius through an exception if the radius is negative. So this exception, we're going to call this invalid radius exception. So the new program so-called with exception.java is going to be modified with that change. So that change is, we're going to look at this so-called with custom exception here. So look at this set radius is now, we're going to have this through invalid radius exception. If new radius is negative, we're going to throw this exception right here. Here's the constructor also declared to throw invalid radius exception. See what the set radius may throw an invalid radius exception. This is the test program. When you create a so-called using the negative radius. So you're going to see this is the exception, invalid radius exception. So this is right here is going to be called invalid radius exception. So the exception here you're going to have is this, you're going to have this invoke invalid radius exception, invoke the superclass constructor, invalid radius, and give a radius. So this is what you're going to have. It's displayed as this invalid radius exception, and this is the invalid radius, and that's negative 5.0. So this is how you define your custom exception. So this is the class extends. An exception class already defined in the Java API. So very common is just extends exception. That is this invalid radius exception. And you have this constructor, and the constructor is to invoke the superclass, the constructor with this, the message here, the message. That is all for defining custom exception classes.